My name is Sue Fitzgerald. I'm guest service manager here at the arena. For COVID protocol, what we have in place is the seats that have yellow tape. You can't sit on those, and we ask that you not remove that tape. After the closing of the ceremony, I usually release you by section. If you can remain in your seat until I call your section, that would be greatly appreciated. We're going to start shortly. Congratulations, class of 2021.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the McCluer High School graduation ceremony for the class of 2021. Please refer to your behavior flyer found inside your graduation program. At this time, will everyone please stand and remove your hats for the playing of the national anthem by Mr. Lewis, Band Director for McCluer High School. Thank you. Please be seated. It has truly been an honor to serve the class of 2021 these past 4 years. To watch you grow into young adults ready to take on the world, I personally count it all joy. You have done what no other class in the history of McCluer has done, and that is to maneuver through a worldwide pandemic and still meet the requirements for graduation. There is a book that I read that says, I can do all things through he who gives me strength. Well, you, McCluer class of 2021, have proven this to be so. As you take on the world and do great things, remember where your strength comes from and continue to thrive and go far beyond what you can even ever imagine. At this time, I would like to introduce the platform guests. When you are introduced, please stand and remain standing until everyone has been introduced. Mr. Terry Tyson, Director of the Ferguson-Florissant Board of Education. Dr. Donna Paulette Thurman, Director of the Ferguson-Florissant Board of Education. Mrs. Leslie Suzanne Hogshead, Director of the Ferguson-Florissant Board of Education. Dr. Kevin M. Martin, Assistant Secretary of the Ferguson-Florissant Board of Education. Mrs. Tiffany Bush, Secretary of the Ferguson-Florissant Board of Education. Dr. Courtney Graves, Vice President of the Ferguson-Florissant Board of Education. Dr. Sheila Powell Walker, President of the Ferguson-Florissant Board of Education. Dr. Cedric Gerald, Principal of McCluer High School. Dr. Joseph Davis, Superintendent of the Ferguson-Florissant School District. Dr. Adrienne Bland, Assistant Superintendent of the Ferguson-Florissant School District. Dr. Jana Parker, Deputy Superintendent of the Ferguson-Florissant School District. Ms. Susie Krish, Senior Counselor for McCluer High School Class of 2021. And myself, Dr. Tracy Lewis, Senior Principal for the McCluer High School Class of 2021. Dr. Davis, if you would please join me at the podium. On behalf of the class of 2021, they would like to hang a stained glass window in the hub along with all the other stained glass windows given by previous graduating classes, beginning with the class of 1999.
Awesome. Let's hear it for the class of 2021. Give them a round of applause. Awesome. Awesome. Excellent. Excellent. Isn't that amazing? So on behalf of the Board of Education, I am pleased to accept this gift from the McCluer class of 2021. Your gift will be a positive reminder of your class and other classes for years to come. Additionally, I'm so proud of each and every one of you who sits before me this afternoon. You have accomplished so much to this point, your graduation day. The class of 2020 rightfully was sad that their senior year was interrupted and didn't end in the way that they had planned it. But the class of 2021, you ended your junior year and started your senior year at home learning virtually. When you face adversity in life, when you face your fears, remember, you have already proven that you already can do anything virtually. Our world today is different than it was when you entered high school 4 years ago. While many of us hope for things to return to normal or at least some sense of normalcy, I want to challenge you to not settle for normal, at least not the old normal that we knew. You have an opportunity to create a new normal. You have an opportunity to improve the world. Today is not the end of your education. Rather, today is just the next step in a life full of learning. This class of 2021 is your opportunity to learn from your successes and your failures. I'm sure you have hopes and dreams. We all do. So what are yours? And if you don't have them yet, I want to challenge you to write them down. This is your opportunity to put action to your hopes and to your dreams. Seize the day. Don't wait for the future to happen to you. You go and get it. Take what you have learned here and change the world for the better. Seniors, please join me in thanking all these people that are sitting around you, your parents, your grandparents, your friends, for getting you to this day today. Give them all a round of applause. They helped get you to this stage that you will march across in just a few moments. So on behalf of the Ferguson-Florissant School Board and myself, congratulations to the class of 2021.
At this time, I would like to introduce Aldo Estrada, class valedictorian, who will give the graduation speech.
Sorry, I'm a little short. Good afternoon, families, friends, guests, and most importantly, the class of 2021. Today, my name is Aldo Estrada, and today I have the honor of speaking in front of all of you to give a few words of encouragement as we transition from high school to a life full of responsibilities and challenges. As I said before, I have an honor speaking to all of you today because of my hard work and dedication, but it was not just because of me. I would like to thank both of my parents, Thelma and Bernardo Estrada Salazar, who are over there, who both worked tirelessly and sacrificed many things in order to push me into the right directions. I would also want to thank my three brothers, Kevin, Abraham, Mateo, who are also over there. They always kept a smile on my face regardless of the situations I was put in. Lastly, I would like to thank my school principal, Dr. Cedric Gerald, my senior principal, Dr. Tracy Lewis, and my counselor, Suzanne Krish, and the entire McCluer High School staff, who all inspired me to become a better version of myself every day and never gave up on me, regardless of the situations I was put against. Nonetheless, I want to give attention to my classmates. We honestly deserve to be labeled as the strongest senior class at McCluer. I mean, we laid in bed 75% of the semester and did virtual classes. Even though our senior year was not the best, we still had a great 4 years at McCluer. Let's not forget about the freshman academy. We were the first class to endure that small, crowded hallway space that felt like an eternity. We cannot forget about our classmates who transferred from MSB and how we welcomed them into the Comet family with open arms, even when people doubted us. There were many great events that made our adrenaline rush and our smiles widen, from the crazy bonfires before homecoming all the way to the hot and energy-filled pep rallies. The class of 2021 always filled the air with the aroma and confidence and dominance. Leading off of that, our dominance and confidence developed us into unique leaders with aspirations to change the world. I see and have always seen great things for the class of 2021. I see future doctors, engineers, presidents, and governors. I see future veterinarians, mechanics, social workers, and passionate activists. We will become inspirations for others and undoubtedly will become great and amazing in the eyes of our close ones and the world. I wanted to finish off by saying something that has stuck with me since the day I was born. It does not matter where you were born, what race or ethnicity you were born as, the income level you are receiving. What matters is what you do to begin your journey and how you finish it. Thank you.
And now I would like to ask Dr. Sheila Powell Walker, Board President, to come to the podium to present the Board of Education Awards to some of our seniors.
Good morning, graduates. Good morning to you, our parents, board members, Dr. Davis, our Ferguson Florissant staff members, and of course, our community members. I am honored to have been asked to address such a talented, motivated group of young people. To the class of 2021, I not only want to congratulate you on your graduation, but also for your resilience, your patience, and your flexibility during this unprecedented time in our world. This is not at all what we envisioned for your senior year. You have had to make adjustments this year. For example, you did not know if you would be virtual or in person, but you persevered. You did not get to spend as much time with each other as you would have liked, but you persevered. You did not get to experience a traditional homecoming, prom, or senior trip, but you persevered. And for our students who participate in the arts or sports, all of that looked very different for you this year too, but still, you persevered. I said to myself, how will they all make it through? There are so many obstacles standing in their way, so many reasons to give up. And I thought about how I had never dealt with anything like this when I was your age. I asked myself, are they strong enough? Are they committed enough? I wondered to myself, where will they be in May when it's time for them to graduate? But here you are. Your Board of Education is extremely proud of you. And today, as you celebrate this, your latest accomplishment, remember to honor and thank those who have helped you get to this place. You know who they are. They are the people who stood in the gap, who spoke up for you when no one else would. And maybe they're the people who held the door open just a little bit longer so you could make it through. For my brief time with you this morning, I wanted to share 3 things that have happened in my life that have sort of shaped and molded me. My hope is that you'll hear these things and be able to get something from them that will help you in the next phase of your journey. I remember working on my undergraduate degree at the University of Missouri, St. Louis. I was in my senior year finishing up my social work degree, and one of my professors had been particularly helpful with me, and so I went to her one day to just say thank you. I wanted her to know how much I appreciated everything she had done to help me finish my course. And she said to me, I appreciate your gratefulness, but here is what I would ask. When you get over the wall, young woman, it is your responsibility to throw a rope back. And the expression simply means that when you make it, help somebody else make it. I want to encourage all of you to embrace this idea, because you see, in this way, we make the journey of those coming behind us just a little bit easier. Perhaps you can help someone avoid some of the scrapes and bruises that you have had to suffer by extending your hand or sharing your resources. It is important that you select the right career path. Some of you will go on to 4-year universities or colleges. Others will choose 2-year colleges. Still others will choose trade school or the military, or maybe you want to enter the workforce right away. But whatever path you choose, it's important that you find what you love. Because if you can find what you love, you will never work a day in your life. And that expression simply means that the work that you do, you will love it so much, you will be so passionate about it, that it won't actually feel like work. I want to encourage you to be courageous in the pursuit of your goals. I ask that you not live a life of regret and unexplored possibilities, because one day you're going to look back on your life and you're going to want to be proud of what you created. And finally, are there any football players out there? Just raise your hand. All right. So even though you are very young, you might be familiar with a Hall of Famer by the name of Deion Sanders. He played in the NFL for many years. He had a really, really good career. He is now the football coach at Jackson State University. But one of the things that people say about Deion Sanders is that he had a really big personality. So big that they called him Prime Time when he was playing, or they called him Neon Deion. And sometimes they would interview him when they would catch him out in the community. And one of the things that they noticed about Deion was that he dressed in a very flashy way. He always wore the finest suits, the finest ties and shoes. He always had a really nice hat. And so they asked him, why is it that he chose to dress in that manner? And his response was this. He said, when you look good, you feel good. And when you feel good, you play good. And when you play good, they pay good. And so he said that talking about football, but I think that's probably true in life as well. And so I want to encourage you to strive to look good and feel good in all the places where you have to show up so you can enjoy all the rewards that life has to offer. Just like Nike, Adidas, and Polo, you are building a brand. You only get one chance to make a first impression, and looking good and feeling good allows you to perform your best. Performing well has its benefits: good grades, scholarships, invitations to join honor societies, leadership opportunities, job offers, promotions, offers to sit at new tables, and the list goes on and on. I challenge you to do all things in excellence and let this be your brand. Class of 2021, our world is in a messy place right now, and we need brilliant minds like yours to set things in order. There are inequitable systems like our healthcare system, our justice system, and yes, even our education system that require your immediate attention. So speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves. Exercise your right to vote and be part of the solution. And when the time comes, speak truth to power, knowing that you are doing your part to create a better world for generations to come. The Board of Education is proud of all of our graduates. You have persevered and earned the title of high school graduate. I challenge you to take what you have learned in our schools and use it as a foundation for your future goals and aspirations. In addition, the board is pleased to recognize our students who have performed at the highest level. Students earning a 4.2 to 4.4 grade point average over 8 semesters earn the title of salutatorian. Students earning over a 4.4 grade point average over 8 semesters earn the title of valedictorian. Dr. Gerald, please join me at the podium to announce the names of our salutatorians and valedictorians so we may recognize them and present an award from the Board of Education.
Comments? So I'm going to ask Doctors Lewis and actually Dr. Bland, where are you? If you would come up and join me as I call these students up. Families and guests, good afternoon to you. These students that I'm calling up now are the top 10 seniors in our school. Dr. Lewis, our grade level administrator, and Dr. Bland, our area superintendent, and of course, Ms. Krish, and all of the teachers who worked very hard to make sure that these students could excel at the very highest level. So, Dr. Powell Walker, it gives me great pleasure to call up these 10 students. Students, when you hear your name, please come up, receive your gift, and then return to your seat. Aldo Estrada. You want to take a picture with him? Oh. Jenna Tracy. Jenna, walk all the way across. Lotus McDonald. Jayla Walker. Starday Morgan Carthren. Brandon Wiles. Adriana McAllister. Marcus Jones. And we also would like to recognize Nigel Sanders and Craig Anthony Moore, who are also in the top. Would you please stand? Yep. I'm gonna go sit down and come back.
Congratulations. At this time, I would like to call back to the stage Dr. Cedric Gerald, principal of McCluer High School, to give his graduation speech.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day, us march on. Let us march on. Let us march on till victory is won. I am from Lift Every Voice and Sing to Amazing Grace on Sunday mornings. I am from Yes Ma'am and No Sir to Stay Out of Grown Folks' Business, and a new revelation of Don't Make Me Have to Come Over There. I am from sun up to sundown in the tobacco fields of North Carolina, from honey buns and wax cheese to peanuts and a Coca-Cola. From cartoons and cornflakes on Sunday mornings. I am from trips to the laundromat to field trips to the planetarium when you couldn't wait for the lights to go out, to vacation Bible school and 4-H camp. I am from HBCUs to PWUs, Aggie Pride, Viking Pride, and Saints Pride. I am Alma's oldest son and Ronnie Lee's baby boy. But that's my story. What about your story? What about Miss Dolores Mason, who spent 30 years at McDonnell Douglas, building C-17s, C-15s, Harriets, the Phantom. Miss Mason raised her children and grandchildren in North County, and she will tell her grandson, who's graduating from McCluer today, Brendan, go talk to Mr. Gerald. And Brandon has called my telephone about 30 times in the last 2 days. Miss Dolores, I am giving him back to you for just a little while. I don't know where she is. After a period of sickness, some of these students lost their mothers. That's their story. I think about Helen Thomas, whose daughter is graduating today, Krishana Duke. If I'm not mistaken, Krishana will be the first in her family to graduate from high school. I think about Deion Cannon, who suddenly lost his mother, who went home to find her lying in the floor, lifeless. Deion is graduating today. His mother is not here, but that's his story. I think about Brooklyn Jones, who lost his brother to senseless gun violence, and so many others who've lost their lives to senseless gun violence, who struggled, who had a stony road to try, but Brooklyn is graduating today. As a principal, you get to learn their stories, some of them who lost their lives. See, when you send your children to McCluer, you send me your best, and we try to make them better. But it got hard at times. We fought, we did. We had some challenges. You can't put this many people in the same space in the same time and not have challenges. It's just not realistic. And yet, after all you've been through, class of 2021, here you are today graduating from high school. Julian Brown is graduating today. His mother is not here. But just know this, you didn't do it by yourself. That's why you have principals and teachers and your village. That is why you have me, to make sure you had the help you needed. But you seniors had to get here to this place today for yourself. You may have been hurt, and you may have felt like you were alone, but I want you to know that you were never alone. And in spite of everything, you are here, the class of 2021. And you may not have a 4.0, it's great if you do, but if you have a mind to think, you are problem solvers, you have the ability to make the best of a bad situation, you all can walk into a room and change the entire atmosphere. And you are here and you have a right to be great. Is there a 2021 graduate in the house? Is there a 2021? Well, listen. I want to do a little station identification. I want you to take out your cell phone. I know you got them. I want you to take out your cell phone, take 10 seconds and snap a selfie. Go ahead, take them out. Snap a selfie so you can see yourself seated at your high school graduation. All right. I got 45 minutes to speak, so let me get done. Comic cousins, we are living in a time where the age-old quote that says, if you don't know where you came from, then you don't know where you are going, are words to absolutely live by. Not too far from where we are seated, there is a debate about whether school-age children should know where their black and brown classmates come from, and whether or not black and brown students should know their story. Yet we are living in a time when the harsh treatment of black and brown people has become a daily reminder of that story. The story of slavery and Jim Crow and segregated classrooms. And this story has got to be told. Students, there are those who don't think that you can handle this story, but they fail to realize that you would not be seated here together if history had not changed course. So telling the story of how we got from Frederick Douglass being struck repeatedly across the head until his blood-soaked hair became dried mesh to stop the bleeding, to John Lewis being beaten at the march across the Edmund Pettus Bridge and needing to have his head stitched up, to George Floyd being held face down, handcuffed with the knee on his neck, is a story that has to be told because my humanity, your humanity, the very soul of the human race is at stake. This is why you must know this story. And this is why you must know your story. And you must tell it. Because if you ever forget the price that was paid for your civilization in this country, the price that was paid for your very seat in this room, then hate will drive out hate and love will not have a fighting chance. If black people, and specifically black students, don't know where they came from, and if they cannot tell their story, then how do we expect white students to decide that they don't ever want to return to a time when they could not share the classroom with their friends seated here beside them that they love so dearly? The story has got to be told. You can clap for that. They got to be here for one another. They need each other to help them along the way. Let me make it personal. A few weeks ago, I entered into a classroom at McCluer, and I needed help getting everything situated. See, this virtual learning was a challenge for our students, right? We got to call that out. It wasn't easy for them, but they're here today, right? Come on, you can clap for that. It was hard. It was hard for me. I don't know a whole lot about clever and concurrent learning. I'm a first-year pandemic principal. Regardless of how long I was in school, I entered into that classroom and I needed help getting everything situated. But lucky for me, Lotus McDonald was in that classroom. See, Lotus is a white student, but she didn't mind jumping in to help her black principal. She helped me get it together. And when the teacher came in the room a little later, she helped him out as well. Here is the takeaway. What would that day have looked like if I had not had her and she had not had me? Could we have figured things out? Maybe. But the benefit of having each other helped everybody else. That is what we were placed here to do, to help bear the infirmities of our brothers and sisters, to help them along the way. And if you can help someone along their way, then your living will not have been in vain. So yes, all lives matter, But until Black lives matter, and hurt lives matter, and Muslim lives matter, and gay lives matter, and straight lives matter, and Asian lives matter, and Christian lives matter, and all means all. And all will never be all until all lives matter. So know your story and tell it. And shame on you if you allow yourself to be so caught up in yourself that you silence the stories of others. Finally, as I hasten to my seat, we have to turn down the noise of hate and pump up the volume of love. Dr. King said, I have decided to stick to love because hate is too great a burden to bear. Martin Luther King said this thing called love. Dolly Parton and Whitney Houston picked it up and said, I will always love you. There's a book I read that says, above all, have fervent and unfailing love for one another, because love overlooks unkindness and unselfishly seeks the best for others. The Dalai Lama said, love and compassion are necessities, not luxuries. Without them, humanity cannot survive. And right now, Dr. Gerald is saying to you, I absolutely love each and every one of you, and there is nothing you can do about it. But before I take my seat, just in case you forget, stony the road we trod, bitter the chastening rod, felt in the days when hope unborn had died, yet with the steady beat have not our weary feet come to the place where which our Father sighed. We have come over a way that with tears has been watered. We have come treading our path through the blood of the slaughtered, out from the gloomy past, till now we stand at last, where the white gleam of our bright star is cast. Listen, God bless you, and God bless the class of 2021. Thank you. I got so excited. It is Sunday. When it's Sunday, I act like it's Sunday. I'm sorry. Seniors, you will now approach the stage, and when your names are called, you're going to shake hands with Dr. Gerald. You're going to pose for a picture.